You're a holistic being. You're a multidimensional being. You are multifaceted. So there's not just the physical you. There's also an energetic you. There's an emotional you. There's a spiritual you. What do those devotions look like? And how can we bring them into play, into anchor, and start preparing them as we're in late summer, moving out of earth and going into the coldness of metal as well?
Welcome to the Osumaré Learning Podcast, where genius is celebrated, joy is the catalyst, and we learn most deeply by teaching what lights us up. I'm Parchelle Osumare, executive learning producer, curriculum designer, and former high school math teacher, and lover of all things wisdom.
And I'm Portia Michele Osumaré, client experience designer, business coach, joy strategist, and a lifelong learner of the sacred and the strategic. Together, we're excavating wisdom from our brightest and most brilliant friends and partners, gaining insight that transform how we learn and how we teach in today's world.
So join us as we offer insights, community wisdom, and unique perspectives on experiential learning. So welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Osumaré Learning Podcast. My name is Portia Michele Osumaré.
And this is Parchelle Osumare. What up?
What up, y'all? I'm like dumb, stupid excited for today. I barely can even really get into how I'm feeling in my week because I'm that excited. So maybe Parchelle, you start. How's your week going so far?
It feels like a big week. It's like just a big, say, emotionally and in the business side of things. Had to have some big conversations that were both challenging, but also very, very good for the business and just for more peace and more clarity going forward. So definitely excited for that. At the end of the day, this role of executive producer has been calling me more and more. And so with this support, with really, really great team members, I'm able to go and source really more interesting and more fun projects for us. So I'm excited to lean more into that. And so that's kind of what's really big for me when I think about this week. It's like changes, new team members, right? Things that are freeing us up in some regards. So that's what's happening this side. What about you, Miss Portia Michele?
Well, reflections on what you're saying also. For those of you all who are listening, when this is out, I think it'll probably be like later in July. We're recording this the week of Capricorn full moon. So, Parchelle, I'm sure your good Capricorn sun is getting whirled and twirled.
That's what I said.
Which I can absolutely feel is in that. And also just wanted to name, it's such an interesting thing as an entrepreneur. It's like the excitement of knowing that a new team means new beginnings, but then the grief of what was before and being in the both and like the hallway and that like interesting in between of like needing to reorient everybody on this call. Everybody who's listening to this knows what it's like to re-onboard a new team member and have to get all this stuff together. And like, you know, it's just a new, bit of labor that is worth it, but that is also kind of like moving, right? It's like, yes, I'm moving, and like I have so much stuff to do.
Yes, that part. And I am moving. So
Yes.
that's happening too. So yes.
I'm seeing you in all of it. And equally kind of like in an interesting version of that, I was in a circle for the full moon yesterday. And one of the things that she was bringing up, is something I know that's going to come up probably on this podcast, is around Uranus changing signs from Taurus to Gemini. As a Taurus rising person, I have been sitting in reflection this week over the last 7 years. And I'm a completely different person. Every single thing that I knew about my life has changed. And it's an interesting reality to think about this week. Well, what does it get to be? All my prayers got answered. I needed prayers. All my thought processes and my plans, came to fruition in wild ways that I didn't expect, but the game has changed. And so I'm interestingly sitting this week in kind of like a new space to create, but also like realizing that I need to create newly because some of the things that I've been doing no longer work. And I'm like, oh, I was oriented to a person. I'm no longer that person. The things that mattered to me in 2018 don't matter to me now. How I determined success don't matter to me now. So I'm in an interesting space this week of really thinking about that. but the ideas and the downloads that are coming for the business around it are like, oh, that's way better than I thought. So again, it's this interesting hallway of, moving from what was, grieving actively what there was to miss, and then being excited about what's new and coming. And I don't know why this is the week to be doing it, but probably that Capricorn full moon will be with it. Always coming to, and Uranus coming to disrupt the shop a little, shake the trees. But that's honestly what's happening in my week. That's what's been loud for me.
Well, it sounds like the top of the a good highlight of the week is this conversation we're about to have now, because you've been wanting this for so long. Y'all don't like. Portia has been asking and wanting this to happen for quite some time. So I'm very, very excited that it's happening, because it's needed, and you've brought together some of the best for such a conversation.
And these are my girls. Like, there is just this, like, spirit showed me that there would be an opportunity to have some female voices come together to really anchor and talk us through a particular opportunity. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know exactly who I'd want that to be. And everyone said yes. Y'all, I'm so excited for you with this podcast. Hope we like it so that we can keep doing it. No promises, but I hope we like it so that we can keep doing it, because I feel like this is going to open up in and of itself an invitation. And I hope that if you're listening to this and you've been wanting to feel a little bit of clarity, a little bit of guidance, a little bit of nurturing, maybe even a little bit of hope in a spot that may feel like it's a little bit dank and dark, you may be unsure, maybe you're in the grief hallway like me and Parchelle, this hopefully will be a conversation that gives a little bit of inspiration, but also reminds you that you got it and the ability to be able to have it. We all are navigating. So I'm so excited for this conversation. All right, we ready to bring us in?
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right, y'all. So welcome to the very first ever State of the Season Osumaré Learning Podcast. We are here for the state of the summer. I'm so excited for this. What I've brought together for you all is, like, I really do feel like it's like a tribunal of wise women from a variety of different backgrounds. I'll let them all introduce themselves in a minute. But we are here to really talk about the state of this season coming up. And at the moment, we are talking about summer in 2025. And we're going to be really giving you an insight into what we see from a couple of different lenses. Every single person that's on this call holds space for other people discovering their greatness. And what's really interesting about the wisdom that comes from people who are space holders is that they're going to bring it from what they know. They're going to bring it from what they're able to channel and what they download. And they're also going to bring it from what they actively see as people are on the journey of doing this thing called life, doing this thing called destiny, doing this thing called business. I'm so excited to be able to introduce you to some of the wisdom on this call. And we're going to be talking about what we want you guys to be thinking about as you're coming into summer, and what we want you to be resourced with as you navigate this season. I will let us all introduce ourselves. I'll go first. My name is Portia Michele Osumare. I am a client experience designer by trade. I am a business strategist. I do a lot of business coaching here as a part of the Cultivated Joy Experiment, which is my company that is called to serve leaders in running businesses that do real good in the world, that they really love running, and that the people who pay them actually get the results that they paid for. I am also head cousin at the Business Cousins Collective, a collective of those called to serve leaders that are out to do that work together. I will be speaking a little bit about kind of where entrepreneurially I'm seeing quite a few of these things, but that's me. I would love for Ilona, introduce yourself, my darling, and tell us who you are.
Hello. So honored to be here. I'm Ilona Pamplona. I am an astrology and human design informed life coach, twice formally published author, and I am in a season of really leaning into my new brand, Your Aura at Work, where I help entrepreneurs, creatives, professionals use human design to get clarity and alignment with their businesses and their work. And so I'm really excited to share all of the juicy astro insights for what's coming up.
Yum. Kira, will next pop to you. Tell us who you are, my darling.
Buenas, mi amores. So I am Kira Buckley. I'm presently right now in Puerto Viejo, Costa Rica, specifically Playa Chiquita. And I am an intuitive integrative practitioner. Priestess is what I answer to, and doula work is my jam. And that's not just catching babies. That is support and doula sponsorship and business for mothers, for babies, for the in-between, for business, for all those things. And so I talk for a living, I teach, and I love it. And I'm deeply into ritual, living by the elements and honoring the earth as traditional Chinese medicine is what I'm licensed in as an acupuncturist and clinical therapist. I'm so delighted to be in this portal right now. I'm just excited as you. I'm just keeping it together so I don't lose my scarf. But thank you. Thank you for having me here.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Jennifer, round us out. Tell us who you are and tell us about your brilliance.
Yeah. Beautiful. I am equally as excited, and I'm not going to keep it together. I am so excited to be here. I love every single one of you on the screen right here, and I'm just so excited for the conversation and the wisdom that's about to come through here. So I am Jennifer Bohn. I am a momentum coach. I am a intuitive embodiment guide. And I am so passionate about supporting entrepreneurs in creating sustainable momentum in their business from the lens of your body, from the lens of your own inner rhythm, like really being able to tap into what is you, how do you operate, how do you run from your body, letting your body lead, let the seasons lead, let the cycles lead, and just really creating that really unique blueprint for your business. And what does momentum look like for you at all phases and seasons of the year, from the lens of like letting your body lead and really tapping into that wisdom. I think that's such a underutilized resource in the entrepreneurial world, is our body and the wisdom that lives in here. So I love helping entrepreneurs connect with that.
Love and love. And I know Kira told us that she's coming in from Costa Rica. I know both Ilona and I are in Vegas, Las Vegas, Nevada, in America, for those who are listening. Jennifer, I believe you're in Stockton, California, right?
Bay Area, yep.
Look. So we're coming in from all over the place to get to love on each other and love on y'all in the process, which I'm very, very excited about. So we'll go around and each of us are really going to talk a little bit about what themes we're seeing for this season that we want y'all to be prepared for. And I want you to be listening to this from an open heart as well. This is kind of one of those things I learned from Kira. Allow this to be a bit of an activation for you. Allow yourself to hear what's yours, leave what's not. The things that seem loud for you, write them down. The things that don't, let them wave and pass over. It does not have to be something where you write down every single detail, but you may want your notebook and pen, because these ladies are about to drop something that you may want to remember for this season. So I will open us up and I will start us off with Miss Ilona Pamplona. Let us know, my darling, what is in the stars for this season, and tell us a little bit about what you think we should be thinking about as we come into the summer.
I will always love this question because there's so much happening just this year, let alone this season in astrology. Things that have been happening is a lot of ingresses. So planets moving from one sign to another. Like we've just had Saturn and Neptune move out of Pisces into Aries. So we've got this season, Aries is the self. Aries is me, my identity, my physical body, my experience. And with both Saturn and Uranus just entering Aries, it's in the human design gate 25, which comes out of the G center, which is the center that's related to identity, purpose, direction, right? But when we look at these gates, they each come with like a shadow, like where we should really be, and like what juicy things opens up when we're really in that spirit. And it's the shadow. So both of these planets, so Saturn, which I call Sky Daddy because he's like a disciplinarian dad. He wants you to do the homework, but he'll punish you if you don't. And it's in the gate of, so it shows up as constriction when we're in our shadow. So we're in a season where we really got to figure ourselves out. Responsible, like full responsibility with really being ourselves. And when we are not being responsible, we're going to feel constricted. We're going to feel disconnected from our heart. We're going to feel disconnected from ourselves. And so the real gift of this gate, of this activation, is acceptance. And I don't know about you all, but my experience is a lot of people are having difficulty accepting where they are right now, where the world is right now, with due reason, by the way, right? Like there's nothing here saying like you have to accept and let it go, but it's like until we can see what's happening in our business, in our world, in our life, and really see it for what it is, we can't get through to the other side. So there's like a real responsibility to stop disconnecting from yourself and see what is happening at heart. Because the city or the exaltation of this is universal love. It's really getting to a point of like, oh, I see how it's all connected. I see how I can embody being part of the solution, being part of what brings everyone together, right? This is an extremely, Aries in itself as a sign can be very divisive because it's ruled by Mars, right? But this is actually a season to be ourselves in such a way that we accept what is and actually contribute to a solution. Now with Saturn, we have the discipline. With Neptune in the same place, it's like, let's not be Delulu, because Neptune is where we can self-sabotage and get lost in the stream and forget our responsibility. So it's almost contradictory energy in the same place. So we really get to be really disciplined with like really accepting who we are, where we are, what we're here for, and being part of the solution. Now, the other thing, everyone has been talking about Uranus and moving into Gemini. So Uranus is that planet of the unexpected. It's represented by a lightning bolt. We're entering, instead of, so you were mentioning, Portia, how we left it being in Taurus, which was like radical, either money for some of us or stability or understanding what that looks like. Gemini is the voice. This is like a 7-year cycle of unexpected messages, unexpected ways to speak, unexpected ways to communicate. Interestingly enough, the gate in human design is in the throat, right? So it is like this cycle of like, there's going to be unexpected vocal activations and all that. Some of us will be called to speak. Some of us will be called to, and who are used to it. And some of us who aren't used to it are going to be called to speak or share our messages. But for me, it's in the gate of, it's in the gate of the now right now. So every planet will have about 6 or 7 gates that it travels through in human design. But right now and through 2028, it is about being in the moment, y'all. So there's this big combination of, we get to like really stop disconnecting and accept where we are to get to love, but then also be in the moment. We need to not future trip. Like I'm seeing a lot of people, I did Spirit Junkie many years ago with Gabby Bernstein. She would call future tripping. We're tripping over things that haven't happened. I get to tell people, everyone who's listening right now, we are not in a moment where we're tripping in the future. We need to be in the moment. We need to do what needs to be done right now. Because what happens is if we're not, we're distracted. We're going to lean into the shadow of distraction. You're actually going to move away from the purpose of what your business is trying to build. And by the way, y'all, don't get it twisted. A lot of what's happening in the world right now, there's stuff we cannot control, and it is distracting us from us being in contribution with our work, with our service, with our soul, with our connections, with our communities. And so there's do not feed into the scattered distraction, that because there's going to be, with Uranus and Gemini, there's going to be a lot of scattered distraction in this gate of now. And so it's really important. So this, I can't wait for it to hear what Kira and Jennifer have to say, because the gift is this embodied presence. We need to get out of the distraction of our mind, get into our body, into our spirit, and get back into the work that we're here to do, because the exaltation or the city of this gate is time will literally dissolve, right? It feels like it's forever, but we need to be in the moment. We need to be in the moment, say what we got to say, do what we got to do. I also kind of feel like, by the way, for Gemini is always known as like, they get a bad rap on the internet, right? The duality, the being like, all over the place. But Gemini represents the voice, the message. It also sales, y'all. Anything that's sales related is Gemini energy. So if we got this lightning bolt coming in for the next 7 years in the sign of Gemini, if you lead into distraction, you're going to miss the lightning bolt of doing what you need to do to market and sell your business. So do not lose yourself in the distraction. Now, the last thing I'm going to that's really like top of mind for me is we're also about to enter Mercury retrograde. Well, yes, everyone, you do not have to panic. Retrogrades are reflections, not panic. And so with Mercury, it's going to be retrograde in Leo. So that's heart-centered. That's courage. So some of us from July 18th to about August 10th, you might feel like afraid. You might feel like ego needs to take over, but that's not what we're here for. There are going to be 3 gates this retrograde is going to go through in human design. The first one is the gate of the army. And so I want you to pay attention to where you're moving from, where you can move from division to guidance, right? Because we need the army, that energy of the army, to come together and guide where we get to go. The second week, it's the gate of retreat. So some of y'all may need to take a break, disconnect from the chaos, disconnect from your mind, disconnect from what's not serving you so you can figure it out to move forward. And then the last gate that it's going to be going through is the gate of influence. And influence is like, it's how we're contributing to the collective, right? And so we get to transform any of this ego into leadership. It's a big call to leadership with this Mercury in retrograde in Leo. We get to lead, be in leadership with our heart. And I could keep on going, but that's that. I like to start it off with that.
Oh, it's good. Oh, it's good. And opening the floor again for all of you all to kind of pop in and speak around that. Ilona, I think it's so interesting. And also I feel like the rest of the year is like a lot of retrograding. Like later on in the year, I know Uranus is retrograding back. I know that quite a few of the planets are in this kind of backward space.
Yes, actually, if we go back historically, like there are the outer planets retrograde often. It's typically, since I've started doing this work in like 2018, the summer is a big retrograde season where Saturn usually is retrograde, Neptune, Chiron, Pluto. And so the outer planets tend to retrograde for a big part of the year. So it's not uncommon for the outer planets to be in retrograde. I'm really appreciative of that observation, because the newbie astrologers are always panicking. This new retrograde. I'm like, y'all, Pluto retrogrades 6 months a year, every year. Jupiter retrogrades like 4 or 5 months of the year, every year. It's not like a new occurrence. It always happens, but now we can actually know how to harness it. Now we can work with it versus against it. And so retrogrades are not bad. They're the opportunity to review the theme of that planet with the energy and the lens of the sign it's in to go and do better when it comes out of the retrograde. It's a review period, not a panic period. And so I always like to remind that retrogrades are not the villains. They're kind of like sticky, like when you get in trouble with a parent, you don't like it. You don't like feeling that, but we got to go through them to get to be better, to grow, to.
And again, it's like, particularly at those of us, we're building businesses, we're out here living our calling. I can't wait to hear from my Gemini folks, because we got some good Geminis on this call around kind of how that is living for them and also in that space. But I think that there's so much opportunity to stop for a moment, revisit what's important, what's now. And then again, what do you want to say about it? Because we want to hear from you. I'm so interested, Jennifer and Kira, anything that's reflecting for you based on some of the things that Ilona shared around the themes that you're seeing astrologically.
I just want to say, Ilona, I know that you will be live at 5 looking at my chart right now. I loved everything. I resonate with everything. And I am sitting from a lens as a triple gem. And mouth open. I see you. Okay? So this is how I live my life. So when you talk about all the energies that are here and what's coming in, and I have to say, it's just the kind of Gemini I am. I never subscribed to whatever bad rap we get. That I don't pay for that subscription. And maybe that is a message this year as well, to cancel some subscriptions that don't apply to you. Do not pay for them. Stop giving money to things that, okay. Not my turn yet, but I'm revving up, Ilona, because you got me started on connects, and it's that thought. And then you put Gemini behind that. Yes, it's shmoney. It's the mouthpiece. It's the motorboat of the throat. It is your full spleen and stomach, and like living in the body. And so, Ilona, you said so much medicine. And I thank you for your lens and also walking us through these gates. I'm gonna pause.
I love it. My Gemini rising sister, bring it in.
Yeah. So I am Gemini moon and rising. So I got the double. We got lots of Gemini energy in here. I love what you said, Ilona. You said we have the responsibility. I wrote it down. We have the responsibility to stop disconnecting from self. Like, I think that right there, like if you take anything from the conversation so far, like that right there is so huge. And being in the moment, what you were talking about, like not future tripping, not looking in the past, like our bodies are in the moment. Our bodies don't live in the past. They don't live in the future. They live in the moment. So being embodied, tapping into our body, looking at the wisdom of our body is going to tell us what do we need in this moment. It's not like, oh, I was hungry 4 days ago. It's going to tell you I'm hungry for something right now. In this moment, it will tell you exactly what you need to be able to thrive and move forward. So I think that is such a crucial piece. And I wrote down so many notes, honestly. I literally wrote down notes on my page here. And I think the other piece here that really stood out to me is like that expecting the unexpected, like with this new energy we're moving into, and how important it is to be grounded in your body as we're, the world is volatile, it's moving, it's like changing, it's shifting from moment to moment to moment. And that can feel very like disorienting to us. But when we're in our body, when we're actually like sitting within ourself, connected to our heart, to our womb, to our, solar plexus, our self center, like we can be grounded. We can be that like tree in the storm as the chaos is happening around us. We're like grounded and rooted in ourselves. And that's where we actually can create change in the world, when we are in a grounded place instead of a scattered place. Yeah. So much goodness already. I'm just, this is so good.
Look, and I'm with y'all, full page of notes myself. So again, for those of you all who are listening, I know y'all are in fuel Mercurian fashion, tick-tick-tacking, writing away, making sure that we have the pieces. And I love so much what you all said also around this and rounding it out. Ilona, thank you so much for cracking us off and opening up this conversation. If we're prepared for what's coming, even if we're prepared for the unexpected, right? But you know that it's likely going to be a can't stop, won't stop season, right? It's a different level of peace that's available because you kind of planned for it. Right? At the very least, you set an intention and you know how to ride a wave. I kept thinking through, right? It's like, this is your time to be a wave rider. Not necessarily even a surfer, but a wave rider. You know what I mean? Like, if the waves are going to be coming, how can you be someone who's great at riding that in? And I love this. Kira, I'm going to pop to you next as you are kind of seeing this from your lens. And again, y'all, for some of the other things I'll tell y'all about Kira that I adore so much, as a master ceremonialist, there's nobody that I know more that understands how to create container around what is in front of us and the right now, and how to, be in relationship with what is in front of us. So let us know what themes you feel like you're seeing for the season, or anything that's sparked off from this conversation as well.
I just feel like I'm being let go from my side of the ring right now. Please pull me out, Parchelle. Please. When you're ready, just pull me out. Thank you. Ilona lit a match. And according to my human design, I respond as a manifesting generator. So thank you for giving me so much to respond to right now. I'm going to lead Portia with a few things that I wrote down from Ilona and you opening up. Yummy chaos is something that I quoted from you in the beginning. When I think about the embodiment of being in a season of me, that's where we are right now. What I'm feeling, what I teach, when I am giving invitations through devotions to make love to life, is that you take up space as though you are always in ceremony with yourself. And it's not a despite or a mist. It's also everything that's happening. I am still in ceremony with myself. And so I believe the season is a deep invitation, many invitations. And you got portals of Uranus and Gemini and Cancer, and shifting into late summer and the TCM lens through your spleen, through your stomach, through earth, through stay in your body. Whoever is asking, and I'm talking to you who is listening, don't ask for no more signs. They are here. Pick one and jump into it. Stop questioning yourself. We are in a season of like unapologetic audacity, because that is also the Gemini. We don't ask for permission, and maybe that is the bad rap. There's no permission needed. There is no check and balance. There is no holding of the bars or the self, because not just being tied to duality, but it's not also and or this or that. It's above and below and within me and without me and around me. And so having a constant circumference of lens and thought and constant thought, I cannot stop. I cannot stop and be stuck in one position of thought and fall into a group think and feel as though life is going to be what it is. So falling into that, the path and the invitation of just accept it. Just pick one invitation and accept it. You've been asking for it. You've been waiting for it. You've been questioning it. And I am here in all the sensual somatics and all the making love to life to tell you that you're worth it and you can take it. And I don't care if the world is falling apart. That's not our business. You are here, right? In spite of, amidst all of the things that are falling apart, because this is not the first time that things have fallen apart and the yummy chaos has continued to roll on. The party is going to keep going. Gemini is here. All my Geminis in here right now. I want to bring a notion to three words, or I'm going to say three energies: hyper awareness, sensory stretch, and this energetically porous space that we're in. We are so hyper aware, which I know because it is my medicine. I can be a walking encyclopedia sometimes. And my granny girl would say, you know so much, you know nothing. So after we get out of the knowing and researching and the history and the timelines and what happened in 1800s with Uranus and Gemini, the integration of right now, what is happening in the war in your body? What is happening with the war in your patterns and the way you do or do not keep promises to yourself? What is happening in your ritual and your devotion? Who are you devoted to? And amidst all that's happening around us, it is a mirror. Gemini presents, we're twins for a reason. We always have a constant reflection, whether we want it or not. So there's always a mirror. So there's the mirror, and here's another invitation for you, brings this reclamation of pleasure as a compass, of discernment over delusion. This is not a season of delulu, but if you take the higher thought and like, because that's what devotion is, you take addiction and you go above it, that's devotion. And so if I always look at how can I be devoted to the energy that's in the air, not addicted to it, but devoted to it, I just go above. I go beyond my humanity and I go beyond my thinking brain. I go into my heart brain. TCM this season says go into your spleen, into your stomach, deepen your feet into the earth, ground yourself because you need to get ready for what's about to fall away. And so you need to nourish your stomach and think about that brain while you're so lofty up here, and don't forsake the earthly goodness that you embody as well. So staying grounded and taking the invitation of being discerning to yourself and not following, as Ilona told us and reminded us, Gemini, the scatteredness, the squirrel brains, the electricity that's just spiking and sparking and taking us everywhere. You are not as helpless as you believe you are. You are not lost. Life is not over. Life is still worth the living. And if you can unsubscribe from the thought of just being in survival and opt in to surrender, I promise that it will look so much better. It's just a different lens. It's a choice. It has nothing to do with economical status. I know the demographics that we're in. I know the privilege of me sitting in Costa Rica and my family in LA and in the South and other places. But here's the unapologetic truth that I'm also sitting in. It's a choice. We're all getting the same invitations. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, because you are going to see what you say. And so if you're meditating on doom and gloom, then that is the world that you're going to create. Whether you are in Stockton, Georgia, or in Punta Uva, Costa Rica, you are still creating a world of chaotic energy. Why not make it yummy? Why not? Why not make it yummy? Okay, so hyper awareness, sensory stretching, energetically porous energy. And this is specifically for those of us who, there's a jungle behind me, those of us who are in I would say the seat of caretaking, the energetic exchanges, the sensitive, the hypersensitive as well. Pay attention to your children who are hypersensitive. I love my neurotypicals, but I'm sorry, I favor my neurodivergents. We live in that world. I teach in that world as well. And really leaning towards just the world of neurotypical. It is a world initiation without pinpointing the autistic and the ADHD, and I got this diagnosis and this. Just look at the world invitation of neurotypical as a communal shift that's happening in the earth. And so why not? Why not take the invitation of being the neurodivergent and seeing that in the lens of how you exchange thought, how you exchange money, how you are codependent on your abundance coming just by the hands of people? Or do you trust that the work that you do is not tied to humans? If God is going to take care of me, the Afro-Caribbean audacity in me says God will take care of me. And it has nothing to do with the client and what time and when they pay their invoice. This is the invitation in the season that we're in to stop playing with yourself and your gifts and get off of the news in the timeline and become your own news and really put the light and shine on yourself and stand in the mirror and trust that the assignment is protection without contraction. Protect your gates. I have so much more to say. Should I stop? Go? Keep going? Okay. Pause. Let me know.
I would
please.
say right here, I will take just a moment of reflection and then I want you to keep going. Michele, since we didn't get to let you pop in for last time, I would love to hear if anything is sparking for you. And then Kira, we need you to keep rolling because we've given it.
Look, I'm also taking notes as well over here. I think what's just very, very loud to me as well, just around the voice and the activation of that happening and how important that ties in with a lot of how we are moving and how it's like, to me, I'm resonating with how we're speaking and how we're speaking about ourselves, even how that connects with how we're showing up to create this yummy chaos. Again, I'm just taking notes.
It's a 10. And I'm going to be real curious. Something about even what you said, Parchelle, and kind of peeking around this voice piece. So much of what you said about us narrating ourselves into suffering, actively saying over and over and over again what we see and how wrong it is and where my money and I'm broke and XYZ. Like, there's an extra potency that I can hear behind what it is that you're saying around the reality that you are decreeing and declaring of yourself just by being overly stimulated, overly enrolled. And I think that something is so interesting, Kira, that's sparking for me as you're saying this is like, so many of us were made for a time such as this. And as the world is getting more neurodivergent, as the world view is opening up, spoiler alert for those of y'all who didn't read the Divergent series, the Divergents were the ones that were here to save us. We're the ones that the whole world created a space for. So I think that there's an invocation in this invitation to become that with which is what you declare as delicious and, like you said, yummy chaos. Bring it to us, Kira. Give us the rest, girl. Give us the rest. The Osumaré Learning Podcast is brought to you by two sponsors that are near and dear to our hearts, because we built them. First up, Business Cousins. Business Cousins is a collective of called to serve leaders who are building businesses that create impact that actually matters. We're about doing real good in the world, giving people the results they paid for, and having a damn good time doing it. If you're into running a business that you actually love, hanging out with smart and soulful folks while you do it, and being supported every step of the way, this may be the room for you. We host gatherings, workshops, and offer ongoing business development support that's as human as it is helpful. If you're interested, apply today at thebusinesscousin.com. Check us out at www.thebusinesscousin.com. And then there's the Author's Leverage. That's our studio for turning your body of work into powerful learning tools. Whether it's digital workbooks, private podcasts, or binge-worthy education content that helps you scale your impact without burning out, we specialize in transforming complex ideas into accessible, engaging learning experiences that your audience will actually use and implement. Our team of expert creators, instructional designers, and production specialists ensure that your wisdom reaches more people in the ways that truly resonate. If you're an expert, author, or thought leader sitting on brilliance, let us help you package it. Learn more at theauthorsleverage.com. That is theauthorsleverage.com.
Yummy chaos it is. I love, first of all, Divergence is my jam. Now I gotta go watch it with my ham and cheese.
I just rewatched the whole series, because I was like, it's time.
And they would watch it over and over again. So I have my two daughters, who we affectionately call ham and cheese. They are both neural spicy. That's what we go by in this house. They are neural spicy, and they got it honest. I surrender to that. The invocations that I do want to share in this hour are going to pull us back to self. Ilona really highlighted the grounding and not running from ourselves, and even bringing up the retrogrades and what's happening in the remainder of this year. I always tend to look at retrogrades in the medicine of Sankofa, and as and no different from being in corporate and business and teaching and assessment, measurements, assignments, but there always comes a point where my body is facing forward and my head is turning back to reflect and look at, because that's what we signed up for, y'all. That's the position that you're in. And if you are constantly afraid of being checked, get into some sessions, please, about not being afraid to having your stuff looked at and being addicted to looking at stuff, but not wanting to be looked at. Retrogrades come with, again, just take it as an invitation. And if you could see it as a lens of invitation into my Afro-Caribbean community, if you can see it as medicine of the Sankofa, the bird faces forward, the head turns back. And we're looking back, not just as a reflection, but who's back there? And then how is our body continuing to move forward as we're bringing what has already happened ahead of us, not turning the whole body around, just seeing who all back there, what did they do, and then how can I bring that forward? There's also an invitation, an invocation that I beseech you, my brethren and my sistren right now, to stop defaulting to hustle as your safety net. It's not going to work in this season. And so there's a lot of faultiness that's happening. That's what July brings. It will shake the ground. Late summer does that in TCM. If the belly is not solidified and anchored, then you get into fall and you fall apart. And so there is no season of sickness, but there is a season of letting go and falling apart. The trees know this. They root deeper in the fall, and then they let the things fall off. The leaves go, but they're prepared for it. And so if you are open to accepting the invitation to live by the season and root yourself and pull your distractions in, and it's not just the external ones, but sometimes we distract ourselves intentionally, the self-sabotage and the imposter syndrome, and then being addicted to certain buzzwords. And you want to point out narcissists, and you want to point out all of these things that are being renamed and reclassified and because everybody just wants to on the internet. But if we can just practice showing up in response to self and turning off even the invitation of Uranus as just the lightning of fighting and flighting and fear and being afraid, like literally a baby afraid of their own shadow, and just running in circles. The invitation here is just to accept your doing and your being and bring it into harmony. So that's resonance and not reach. It's resonance. It's not more reaching. It's just acknowledging, what am I in resonance with? And then not being afraid of the whole part of you, right? You're a holistic being. You're a multidimensional being. You are multifaceted. So there's not just the physical you. There's also an energetic you. There's an emotional you. There's a spiritual you. What do those devotions look like? And how can we bring them into play, into anchor, and start preparing them as we're in late summer, moving out of earth and going into the coldness of metal as well? The last couple of things I want to share: tending to your nervous system as a business infrastructure first. Nothing works if you don't work. And you can pay for all the right people, and you can have all the right systems and all the right tabs. But if you are still lying to yourself, you're still hiding from yourself, you're still running from your own tail, you are refusing practice and ritual and devotion to yourself, it's literally like waking up in the morning and decide, your body needs to release, but you're just gonna keep doing the dance in front of the bathroom. What sense does that make? Nervous system, infrastructure. The nervous system is what holds your business. You are not separate. You are not separate. The nervous system holds your business. And then the last thing, and then I won't be before you long. Shift from being available to everyone and just trust that you are visible to the right ones. There is an audacious sovereignty and I'm speaking for the Geminis that I embody, as there are 3 sets of twins in me, even more, right? There is a sovereign, what Portia asked me to speak about earlier, energetic cleansing. There is not just complaining about your clients and who you're seeing and who you're following, and you're tired of scrolling and seeing the same thing, but as within, so without. So if you know you're going to see what you say, what are you saying to yourself? What are you saying that's not true? What lies are you telling yourself? What are you saying because you are booking out of lack and fear? What are you saying because you are trying to rush and meet a quota and pay a bill, but you know that your adrenals are taxed? What are you saying so that you can ensure that you know without a shadow of a doubt that this year, no matter what happens, I am safe, I am held, I am supported, I am surrendered to my gift? That's how it makes room for you. You don't make room for it. The gift makes room for you. And so there's your invitation. Again, please just pick one. Just pick one and accept it.
To go on mute because I'm in here shouting. Look. I hope y'all picked it up. I'm going to open up if anybody else has any other reflections. But one thing I got to say, that lack and that fear and the lie you're telling yourself about what you should be doing, but you're not. Every time that you have yourself on a forever hamster wheel and you're wondering why you're going nowhere but in circles, and then you fry your nervous system with doom scroll, and then you wonder why you don't got no leadership for your business. Y'all, put it down this season. Put it down because you can. Kira just gave you an invitation. You're allowed to put it down anytime. You're allowed to change your mind anytime. You're allowed to redirect anytime. Anytime. Oh, I love it. Ilona, Jennifer, opening up the floor. If there's anything in reflection you want to jump in there.
Have to just thank you for those transmissions. I took a lot of notes. I have a lot to say, but really the one I really want to focus on, because I also want to get to Jennifer, is Uranus is associated with the nervous system. So the fact that you pinpointed that for the next 7 years, I mean, it is so highly specifically important because we are going to be shocked, Uranus lightning, in the nervous system, Uranus nervous system, for the next 7 years. And it's through communication, Gemini, right? And so, like, I cannot give enough snaps and praise and thanks and yes to that specific call forward, because that is what's being attacked in this season. And that's exactly where we get to regulate and strengthen.
And Jennifer, let us know. And again, as you're rounding us out in reflections, I also know that the nervous system is your work in the world. So feel free to round off reflection and then let us know what you're seeing as themes for the season as a part of that also.
Yes. Oh my God, you guys, like, Kira's preaching, Ilona's preaching, Portia's preaching, like, let's go. Oof. I learned something new. I did not know that Uranus was, the nervous system is associated with that. That's so powerful. And that next, 7, 8 years, you said? Yeah, 7 years in that we get to, and we've seen this so much, like the nervous system is actually becoming part of the conversation. It's becoming, a buzzword, which is great. Which is great in so many ways that people are becoming aware of that's a thing, because we haven't paid attention to it for decades and decades, right? So I love that that's kind of being brought into the forefront. One thing that I wanted to, again, so many notes here. What's the one thing I wanted to touch into that Kira had talked about was opt into surrender. Opt into surrender. I feel like that just like hit me in my soul. I felt that in my body. Like, how can we opt into surrender, especially in a season of summer, which is a lot more activity. It is a lot more, things happening, activities going on, events, we're in more of that kind of active energy. And we might forget to surrender. We might forget that piece of like just being with ourselves, and how powerful that is to just disconnect from all the activity, all the things like going on outside in the world, and making sure that we're taking that time to surrender and really like anchor into ourselves. And what that brings up for me is trust in our body. And that's a conversation we've been having a lot in the Come Home to Your Body sessions, is how do we build that trust in our body as we're in a yummy chaos, as we're in, the lightning bolts of Uranus, the unexpected. Like, how are we like moving into that and creating that trust within our body that I got me, you got you. Like, we got our own backs. We can handle this. Like, we were built for this. Like, we were built for this. And it takes that, like, just getting quiet and anchoring into our body, into ourselves, into our nervous system, telling ourselves we're safe first and foremost. Like, creating that safety within our body so that we can then be that for the people in our lives. Like, I always teach from a lens of like, you first. We gotta, there's the analogy of the oxygen mask, like all the things, fill your cup, like we all know this, but it's like, are we actually doing it, first of all? And what happens when we do that? When we can fill our own cup and really build that trust and that safety within ourselves, then the people in our immediate surroundings, our loved ones, our family, like we can bring then that safety, that safe place for them. That ripples then out into our neighborhood, into our community, into the world. It's like, I always think of that ripple effect that comes from us, but it starts with you. Starts with you anchoring into yourself and creating that safety and that trust within yourself first. So I just love that conversation got brought to the table. Oh my gosh, so much. So what I've been thinking about and what really is present and alive for me in the summer season is like this fire energy. Like I love the elements too, Kira. Like I'm very into the elemental, the seasons, the earth, like Mama Nature, medicine. There's so much available for us there to learn. And for me, like, summer is a very fiery season. Like you've got that fire energy. And so how can you create a slow burn? Like instead of a like bonfire like energy where it's like that hustle energy or that like I'm just going to go. I'm going to go to 8,000 events every week and I'm just going to be out there. How can you create more of a slow burn throughout the summer with that fiery energy? So I think of like fire is so powerful. And if we keep that slow burn, which I think of as like the coals, it's like the hot coals, where you can put one little piece of wood or a piece of paper on there and it'll light up and you get that bonfire energy. You get that like activation energy. And then can you calm that down? Can you not stay in the bonfire in the active, which is that like nervous system dysregulation, right? If we stay in that active state for too long, then we're going to burn out. It's not going to go well for us. So how can we are you doing those practices to like bring yourself back down into the coals, into the slow burn where like the fire's still going. You didn't put the fire out. You didn't pour water on it. You just cooled it down a little bit. So what are those practices? What are those things in your life that is cooling energy for you, that brings the fire down into that slow burn coals so that it's available to ignite whenever you want it, whenever you need it, whenever you feel that, in your body, like, okay, I'm ready. It's like LFG time. Let's go. You can light that fire. You can put a piece of wood on that fire and ignite that. But I think it's really about like creating that balance in there so that we're not in that big bonfire energy the entire summer, and then we get to fall and we're like I can't do this anymore. So I wanted to bring that conversation around just creating that slow burn. So what are those ceremonial practices, those rituals, those like devotions to your body where you are spending time with yourself every single day, throughout the day, ideally, in just moments, you guys. Like, I think this is the thing that just blows my mind constantly about the work that I do with clients is it takes a moment to get into your body, to be with your body, to calm your body, to ignite your body, to do whatever it is you're needing in the moment. It takes a moment. It takes minutes to just do a cooling breath, a really slow breath into the body, a slow exhale, just like putting your hand on your heart. Can I just check in with my body for 1 minute before I hop on the next Zoom call? Can I just see what I need right now? Just taking those moments throughout your day and then having those, longer, juicier practices for yourself, like whenever you're able to fit that in and making that a non-negotiable, truly. Making your connection with your body a non-negotiable, because this is our home that we're living in. This is the only home we got. This is our true home. This is our home that is going to be with us. It's the only thing in life. I say this all the time. Your body is the only thing in life that is there with you from your first breath to your last breath. Like all the people, all the families, all the things, like everything else, like I don't know if conditional is the right word, but it comes and goes, right? Like our body, it's that thing that's with us for the entire time. So how are we honoring our body? How are we honoring our body? Creating that time, think of your kids or the people that you love, like you create time for them. Can you give that same gift to yourself? Can you give that same gift to your body every day, spending time with it? Building that's what builds trust within your body, is showing up for yourself, showing up for your body. And I also, another piece here is just kind of looking at the summer season and the different signs that are in the summer. We've got the Cancer, which is very like nurturing. So how are you nurturing? How are you tending to your heart? How are you bringing that in? We've got that Leo, like really self, shining bright for ourselves and then out into the world. Like, how are we making a difference? How are we expanding in our concept of self? And that also takes nervous system care as well, because that expansion always we have to tend to our nervous system whenever we're in expansion, because we're expanding that window of tolerance so that we aren't, too high or too low, but we're just expanding what we're able to be comfortable in and operate in on a day-to-day basis. And then that Virgo, grounding energy, we round out the summer with that grounding Virgo energy. I'm a Virgo sun too, so yeah, just bringing in, I've got that Gemini airiness, which is why I do the work that I do, because I'm in my head so much, and I find that so much with entrepreneurs. We're so in our heads, we're trying to figure it out. How do we do this? What's the strategy? Blah, blah, blah. And it's so powerful when we can drop into our body, when we can spend that time in devotion with ourselves, getting the wisdom from within, attuning to our own inner rhythm. We each have our own inner rhythm that we're supposed to move through life with, that will be in most alignment, that will be the most sustainable, that will be the most joyful and fulfilling and juicy and yummy, if we're attuned to that, versus like all of us have been saying, is like that distraction piece. Like, how are we looking outside of ourselves? What is everybody doing on social media? What is this business coach telling me to do? What is the outside world like just trying to jam down your throat? Can you like put a little, take a beat from the outside world and make sure that you are creating that time to cultivate your inner world? And there's so many more things I could go on to, but I'll pause there too.
So good. So good. And it's one of the things I literally wrote down was like, you literally need to tend to your nervous system in between every expansion. And I think about, particularly as entrepreneurs, so often it's like, my next thing is to get more strategy, and then to do more hustle, and then to do more things, and then to do more things, and then to do more things. And then we wonder why it's like, Spirit, God, Source showed me that this is my destiny. Why am I exhausted? Babe, where's the body? Babe, like, when did you take time to actually tap in to getting yourself and building trust with yourself so that you actually could be prepared to be a steward of the vision that you're currently going to be walking into? Right? And if you're sitting here on the other end of this call and you're like, okay, that all sounds great and everything, everyone feels so expansive, but I don't feel expansive. It may be that you may need more time with you. It may be that this is the time to actually sit down, get clear. What I love so much about the concept of Sankofa is that the statement that I was always taught with Sankofa is the act of going back and recovering. Right? And so if you look at it as yourself, from what Jennifer said, right, to go back and recover it is to also go back and recover who you are, who you're being, and what's working. If you don't trust yourself, that's a decision. You can decide to do something different, right? If you don't feel at home in your body, that's also a decision. You could decide to do something different. To Kira's point, you could invite yourself into a new relationship, literally a new paradigm shift that is available with the energy of this year, to invite yourself into a reality that actually feels suited to you, your rhythm, your genius, and also your pleasure and your ease, right? Because it also gets to be something that doesn't have to break you in half every single time to learn the lesson. That was so loud to me from what it was that you were sharing, Jennifer. Anyone else have any other reflections from what Jennifer said before we round us out?
Are you gonna go?
We're like, you go. No, you go. Jennifer, I love you big. And I know the way that we were kiki in devotion, and now I get to hear the way that you also unravel the body. That is like the ultimate medicine, the constant allowing yourself to unravel. My new word this year has been unfurl, like a cat just unfurling, and the way that they just sprawl, and that's an audacity. Even unwind, unravel, unfurl. And so I thank you for giving us those reminders, Jennifer, and the imitations, because I love the body. I didn't always love it. Be honest, I was trying to get beamed up a lot of times by Scotty. Now, to be and work and live earthside in the body is why we're here. Thank you for bringing that back to us.
Ilona?
First of all, Kira and Jennifer are completely mercurial with their Gemini and Virgo placements. And so it's going to be, I feel like you are our like biggest goddesses for this season that's coming up with all the Uranus that's happening, because you are going to lead us into what it looks like to live this out. I have no Gemini placements, none. So it's going to be awesome to witness you and already witness you being in this cycle that we're just entering. And Jen, when you said something about like it starts with us, right? Like, and then you can go, like, that is so reflective of exactly where we are now, even astrologically, because Saturn is in Aries, the self. We get to be responsible with the self. But Pluto, the planet of death and transformation, is in Aquarius, the collective, right? And so that what you're saying is such a call, even astrologically, too, of saying it starts with me. And in fact, Saturn's only going to be in Aries for 3 years. Pluto's going to be there for another 18 years, 17 years. So it's like it really, we are right now being asked to start with us to serve the collective. And so and it starts with us in our bodies. So, that what both Kira and Jen with everything that you said feels so like this juxtaposition of we need to start with us. We need to slow ourselves down so that we can go back into the container. And I think everyone needs to hear this with their business and their life in every way, shape, or form. So Mercurial goddesses, thank you.
Yes. Not just now also realizing we put together a very interesting energy with a lot of Libra with me and Ilona on this call and a lot of Gemini with Kira and Jennifer on this call. So there's lots of duality, lots of twin, lots of both and, right? Lots of what it is to actually have a foot in two realities, which I honestly think is kind of the conversation of the decade. Right? It is, how do I care for myself and I care for my people? How do I know what's going on with them without overwhelming my nervous system? How do I be in all of the inner systems of my body, but also look at it as a microcosm of the macrocosm, vice versa, whatever that looks like, of what all is going on in and around. And I'm so inspired from this conversation. And I also want to say, you can do it. It's doable. And we've been doing it, right? And just because now we know more than we've ever known and we have more names and titles for things than we've ever had, doesn't mean that the work has shifted drastically. The work is still go inside, figure it out, get what's loud for you. And like Ilona said, like Jennifer said, like Kira said, what is yours to do right now? Particularly as we kind of move into this conversation around entrepreneurship and where I want you all to sit and ground all of this in your business. I hope you heard that this is not going to be a season where your nervous system regulation ends up being something that sits on the back burner. This is not going to be a season when being in your inner ecosystem is a non-negotiable when you have time. After you're done hustling, you're going to find that you're on a hamster wheel and you're running real fast and you ain't going nowhere, baby. You're going to find that. You're going to find if that is what it is that you do. Again, what got you here may not get you where you're going. So you hustled hard. Fantastic. Let this be the day that we sit down and go, okay, what else is possible? Okay, let me ground into, like Kira said, what invitation can I allow myself to ground into this summer that is going to set my soul work and my leadership correct so that I know the GPS of where I'm going. Because at the end of the day, all the great marketing plans, all the fantastic email campaigns, everywhere that you need to go be seen in your PR and all the team that operationally is going to hold you does nothing if the ship is pointed in a direction of bullshit. Forgive me, right? If the ship is pointed in a direction that's not going to work for you, that no longer works for you, then that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And as I'm thinking through what I want to share for this season, that's loud for me. We've been having this conversation in our Business Cousins community all year long, interestingly enough, from the invitation from Kira last year around devotion over discipline, right? And I really think that this part of the year, I really want y'all to be thinking through in your actions. What are they showing me that you are devoted to? Sit down and look right there first, right? And if we're going to Sankofa and we're going to retrograde it and we're going to look deeper, I want you to look at what are you actually doing? And is it in alignment with who you want to be currently? Because a new version of you is likely available for almost everybody that's listening to this, right? Wherever these astrological and human design transits and the energetics of this season, twing, 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 in you inside, every single one of you is being activated in the way that Jennifer said, right? Summer is an activating season. Things are going to be louder. All things, whatever it is that you're being activated by and the new you that is being activated, invocated, brought forward and being asked to be created, right? Like a little spark in the dark. Does that person feel like the actions that you're doing are a devotion to who they want to be? I want you to sit and look at them. And particularly, I want you to look at it in all sides of the business. Is it in the clients, in the team, in the operating system even? right? How you're operating it and how it's operating as well. This is a really good time to reevaluate the why behind what it is that you're doing, make sure that it's still relevant, and then start looking for, to me, who are the like minds, right? Who is your girl squad, right? That we're here on the call. These are the people to whom I resource myself with. I'm sharing my resource with y'all. You're welcome. But I want you to consider, right? Who are you resourcing yourself with? To Kira's point, even, what information are you resourcing that new devotion with, right? It's interesting when we're starting a new story. And I feel like what's interesting about this year is so many people who are sitting in front of me are starting a new story. There was a way I was, and then there is a way that it is, right? And if we're spending our time, like Ilona said, grounding us in the present of right now feels less like the baby has been birthed and more like you just got pregnant, right? It's like, I was talking about this with Ilona, right? It's like, okay, you just got pregnant. Now what in my life needs to change? Because I am pregnant, right? We were talking to Ilona about this earlier, right? It's like, I may have had sushi on the docket for Friday night, but I'm pregnant, right? I may have decided that I wanted to do X, Y, and Z, but something has been birthed and something has been dropped like a little seed in me that I have to nurture, right? That my nervous system has to realign with, that I get the ability to say, is that going to work for the person who I'm going to be birthing? Does my life actually work when this thing comes earthside, right? This thing, this you that is being currently inceptioned, that's not that a word? In the inception point, conceived. There we go. The you that has just been conceived, right? Does your life fit for that person to be birthed? Because the truth is, right, when we're in a lot of this new beginning season, we're not at the place where we're harvesting right now. We're at the place where something is being conceived, not even birthed, right? Conceived. And so who are the people that you need to be around that will help for that conception? And then what do you need to shift about how you are spending your everyday life that can be in alignment with the devotion to the eventual birth of that conception? Something that's going to be, again, really loud for me with you all as entrepreneurs. Really want y'all to be sitting in and thinking about, what does success mean to me now? And am I doing somebody else's freaking paradigm? This is not the year for that. Your business will break if you are doing somebody else's business. And I love you and I adore you and I send it to you with all of the love. If there is a calling on your life and you are phoning it the fuck in with somebody else's business model, I promise you it's going to break this year. And this is going to be the year where you got to pick up the pieces. And I don't want you to be upset when it comes. Come sit down with me again, get you a session. We'll talk it through, but I'm going to be real. If you've been phoning it in, now's the time to pivot and you get to choose and the choice gets to be delicious. I know that it's going to take every single piece of your bravery, but baby, I promise you can do it. And I promise you, like Kira said, your gift will make room for you. It will. So if you need to change directions, now's a great time. Now's a great time. Give yourself permission to live your full ass life fully. Give yourself permission to let your business be a divine reflection of that life, of that calling at the highest point of deliciousness. Okay. That is what I want you all to know in regards to business wise. Opening up for last reflections as we tie down this transmission of podcasts for the people. Oh, it's been so good, y'all. This has been awesome. Please let me do this again.
Please and thank you. I'm going to put my vote in early and say I'll show up. And I don't show up for a lot of stuff, but I'll come for this. This is great. This has been amazing. Portia, I just want to say thank you. Ilona, Jennifer, I'm riding the wave, Portia, this last transmission that you gave in your actions. Because, I love the way words are put together. Mercurial goddesses. In your actions, what are they showing me that you're devoted to? I said, no, she gonna pull a me on me. That sounds like something I would say and ask myself. That alone. And let me tell you what I wrote last night. And it was a reminder. I call my grandmother Granny Girl. So for reference, Granny Girl would say to me, pay attention to how people move because it will tell you the spell that they're under. Not what they say, but how they move. And so action, movement, devotion are all related. And the attention that is being diverted to movement, the wave, to the water, to the frequency, to the way that this is not air in a box season. We're not in a box, Geminis. We're not. We're sparking. This is literally, it's not quite a windstorm unless you want it to be. And that is the yummy chaos. But thank you for just bringing that home, Portia. I believe that your frequency is your funnel and we're not negotiating our frequency. Your frequency is your funnel. Don't negotiate that.
Write it down.
That gets put on a t-shirt right there. That's so powerful. And I also love what you were talking about, Portia, around like if your business is following someone else's paradigm, like it's gonna break. And so how do we find our own paradigm? How do we find our own paradigm? It's through ourselves, connecting to ourselves, to our body, to our heart, to our soul, to our womb space, to our centers, like our energy, our frequency, right? And like that, like spirit speaks to us, it speaks to us through our body that, our brain kind of interprets it into words that our human can understand, but our spirit speaks to us through our body. Like that's where our soul flows through. That's where it comes through, and like our brain makes sense of it, and we can figure out like what that could mean. But it's all happening through our body, at least in my perspective. Like all of that wisdom is available through our body, and we have to get quiet. We have to get quiet. We have to disconnect. We have to like shut out the voice of the outside world and really tune into ourselves. And that's where you're going to find your soul paradigm, your business paradigm, your inner rhythm. Like that's what's going to be sustainable. That's what's not going to break ever, because it's true to you. So good. Thank you for bringing that, Portia.
That. Ilona, give us your reflections and an invitation for the people to take with them as we continue today.
Well, I mean, the first thing that's coming up to my mind based on everything that's just been said is that in human design, they say no choices are made in the mind. So the way it's the human design experiment, and it is your energy, right? And so they're like, your mind should not be driving your choices. It is in your body. It is in yourself. Your body, your energy, your quantum connection to the quantum field knows the way. And so, what you said, what Kira has said, what Jen has said, all of this is a reclamation of the self through our own energy, not our thoughts, because our thoughts are conditioned by the world we've been in, and that conditioning doesn't always serve us, and it isn't for us. And so what I'm hearing in everyone's reflection is trust yourself. Get out of your mind, slow it down. I think everyone's been calling back everyone to slow it down, to return to self, to trust the self. And I think that's what I'm really hearing from everyone's transmission as like a key for how we move forward in this season.
Love. All right, y'all. My last invitation, y'all, is put this shit on the calendar. Go get it right now. Go open up your computer, because I know it's going to be great talk and you ain't going to do nothing about it if it's not on the calendar. You may need to move a meeting to put yourself on your own calendar. Put yourself on your own calendar. At least an hour every morning, at least 30 to 45 minutes in the afternoon. Put yourself on the calendar. Give yourself time to think about this in the morning and set your day for success. Give yourself time to transition from work and set your day for success in the evening. Do this. You deserve to be on your own calendar, entrepreneurs. I know y'all, because I am y'all. It's all right. But if we don't put it on the calendar in a season of yummy chaos, it will not happen. You deserve this. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you so much, Kira and Jennifer and Ilona and Parchelle, for holding us in this container. Y'all, it sounds like we may be back in the fall to let you all know what you can expect for the fall season coming up. But I want you to know that you can do it. You were built, you were born for this. The calling that is on your life that has been gifted to you will always, 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 always make space for you if you follow it. Trust it. Trust yourself. Have a wonderful summer. Take excellent care of yourself, and we will see you all next season. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen and consider what was shared today. Thanks to our guests for sharing. Thank you to Parchelle for holding us in this container. And thank you for listening. We hope that something that was shared today sparks a new idea, inspires a new action, or creates something that you're excited to share with your community.
And thanks to Portia for leading this wonderful conversation and for bringing the vibe. Make sure to subscribe, share it with a friend, and hit us up on LinkedIn or Instagram. We want to hear what this sparks for you. So do us a favor, drop a review or leave a comment with what you thought.
All right, friends, we will see you next time on the Osumaré Learning Podcast. I'm already looking forward to it.
Me too.